Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, everyone. My name is Suede, and welcome to the middle ground with Suede. We have some topics for y'all today. Quickly, we'll get to know each other. Uh, I'm here to bring y'all entertainment, news, and have some lives as well. We'll be shooting some lives uh daily, and we'll be putting out videos daily for y'all. Uh, Again, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me on this journey. And here we go. We'll get it going. First topic that's going on, making a lot of noise this week is this lawsuit involving Fox News. And obviously, we got Bailey, Skip Bailey, involved in that as well. Let me get to it right away. Show y'all real quick. This is it here. Lawsuit alleges Fox Sport ex host harass hairstylist and offer her 1.5 million for sex. 1.5 million. I find that interesting. Interesting is the word I'm gonna use. Let's see here. So it says a woman who worked as a hairstylist for Fox Sports alleges, also that former host Skip Bailey made repeated unwanted advances towards her, including an offer for 1.5 million to have sex with him. Eee, that's nuts. All right, guys, I'm not gonna bore y'all reading this whole thing here because we also have the lawsuit, but I have a video here we could watch real quick. Kind of go over it in a summary. Do this.
I don't know about that one. I was with her, but I don't know. I don't know. All right. The suit alleges approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance at Miss Faraji. 1.5. I don't know about that one. I was with her, but I don't know. I don't know. All right. The suit alleges approximately 1 week later, Mr. Bayless made another advance at Miss Faraji. She responded, "Skip, stop. You have a wife." And Mr. Bayless said, "Aren't you Muslim? Doesn't your dad have 3 to 4 wives?" Miss Faraji responded that her father was dead, and when Mr. Bayless looked taken aback, she made an excuse to leave. Good Lord, what the hell is going on up there at Fox Sports? Oh, what is going on at Fox Sports? What is going on?
Well, the thing with Fox, it has a reputation for these these girls working up there. They look a little bit more on the OnlyFans side than professional news broadcasters, and that's the truth. I mean, we've seen it, we've heard about it. People made plenty of comments about it, and it seems like it's causing trouble now. Now let's flip the coin a little bit and go to the direction of it is tough. It is tough navigating the structure of uh corporate uh corporate what's the word? Corporate history, I should say, or corporate culture. Um because we've all worked in the office where you get the over groupie guy or the touchy guy or the guy that's just throwing his weight around. Um, you know, it's becoming tough for these people now because back in the day it was normal. Back in the day, a woman or man wants a job, they are, you know, they're harassed for the job. They're harassed for the promotion or the pay raise, and um it's gonna be a tough thing because now women are secretly waiting, and they recording and sitting back waiting for the first opportunity to take you down, because apparently this girl, this happened a while ago. She worked there, I believe, from 2012 to 2016. And then also in the lawsuit, I believe she claimed that she was fired. We got the Let's finish watching this video real quick, then
Skip
we'll
was like,
watch the
hey, don't y'all
court
have a whole
documents.
heap of wives that you from your culture, ma'am? I mean, damn. Let's not. So what does she make? Joy's a good looking chick. She's black and white, okay. A little mulattress, black and white, okay. A little thick
And she also claimed racism on top of it as well, because apparently she is mixed race.
thing going on. For those, and let me show y'all Joy. That's Joy right there. Joy with Skip, and Shannon. Oh, that's Joy. Now, boy, the Faraji lady really
I'm I'm happy for Shannon, man, because Shannon seemed to dodge a lot of that bullshit, man. Even with the whole live that came out when he was on live, and doing his thing with his lady, and he dodged that pretty well. He did pretty good. Uh, I'm happy for him. But yeah, man, it's going crazy now. Let me kind of show y'all the court document for a second here, and then we'll kind of go over it quickly because it's about 42 pages, and we're not gonna read it all. The story's developing, and we'll be on top of it and bring it to you. The pieces that are coming out. Um, we'll keep an eye on this case for us. Let's do this. So as you could see, make it bigger for y'all so you could see a little better. Superior Court of the state of California, County of Los Angeles. Okay, so on this side here, these are the plaintiffs. So she's going for Fox LLCs, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 2, and Kid Bailey, obviously, and Joy Teller. Okay. These are who she's suing, and this is on this side here. We're gonna go quickly over what she's suing for. So she's suing for the class action. This is a class action. On the class action, she's suing for failure to pay minimum wage, failure to pay overtime wages, failure, so she didn't get reimbursement for. Because, sometime when you work for a company, you get a, sometimes you don't get a company card yet. You go spend the money. You go buy. Let's say you buy, office supply, or you had to get somewhere, you bought the plane ticket, etc. Um, and so what they're saying is Fox wasn't reimbursing them for those expenses. So she also suing for them not paying her for after she left. So after pay leave, after leave pay. So she didn't get that. Uh-huh. Okay. And also obviously unfair for fraudulent business practice, etc. But here, this is the for individual complaint. So this is just from her. So she's suing for sexual battery, hostile work environment. Okay. So she doing it for the hostile. So as you can see here, it's about sex and gender, and the second one is for race and nationality. So again, she's claiming racism as well. Okay. So failure to prevent harassment. So that's probably gonna go towards workplace safety, meaning they didn't provide her a safe environment for working. Uh let's see here. Enrolled for termination. So apparently she had took a leave of absence somewhere, something along that line, and she was fired. Uh she was fired. But yeah, she went, it was a lot here. So she went in detail about all the toxicity, how she was harassed. Uh yeah. And she also speak here of a female coworker that's clearly was uh also part of the situation. She's claiming that people saw and didn't do anything. Yeah, that's why she went for medical leave. It was a medical leave she took uh to cope with the emotional scars she got from. So basically, Fox, she alleges Fox have some different business. I'm just gonna scroll here. So she was threatened for not sleeping with the coworkers, and this is where she claimed racism here. She was targeted because of her ethnicity and disability. That she says she also had PTSD. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot here. Not gonna bore you guys with all this. As the stories develop, I will be touching back on there. Um, let's see what else we got going. Oh, very interesting news here. We got the Canadian Prime Minister uh is resigning. So he's um he's making a speech. Let's tune into that and get a little view of that. Let's see what he got to say. So apparently his approval rating has been plummeting, and he's choosing to step down. Interesting timing. Interesting timing. Let's see. Let's fast forward this.
We all good for audio, guys? Testing 1 2 for media. Media, we're all good for audio here? We're good? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll fast forward just a little bit to the point where he comes out.
for this country, for you, to strengthen and grow the middle class. Why we rallied to support each other through the pandemic, to advance reconciliation, to defend free trade on this continent, to stand strong with Ukraine and our democracy, and to fight climate change and get our economy ready for the future. We are at a critical moment in the world. Mes chers Canadiens,
Is it me or he gotten older? He used to look a lot younger. Like, is it me or is it? Let me know in the comment. My dude look different. He's been going through it or something.
à chaque matin, je me suis réveillé en tant que Premier ministre, inspiré par la résilience, la générosité et la détermination qui nous caractérisent si bien en tant que Canadiens. C'est ce qui me motive à chaque jour où j'ai le privilège de servir.
He's speaking French, so he's basically doing the whole politician spill where how much he's proud and being a Canadian citizen and all the cool spill politicians do.
Dans ce poste. C'est pourquoi, depuis 2015, je me suis battu pour ce pays, pour vous.
So about since 2015, he's been working hard.
Pourquoi nous nous sommes mobilisés en tant que Canadiens pour se soutenir les uns les autres pendant la pandémie, pour faire progresser la réconciliation, pour défendre le libre-échange sur notre continent, pour notre soutien inébranlable de l'Ukraine et de la démocratie, et pour lutter contre les changements climatiques et préparer l'économie de l'avenir. Nous traversons vraiment un moment critique dans le monde.
So he's talking about all the
My friends, as
current events in the world politics.
a fighter,
Said we're in
Trudeau,
a
as my
sensitive,
body has always told me to fight because
important
I care
time in
deeply
history.
about Canadians, I care deeply about this country, and I will always be motivated by what is in the best interest of Canadians. And the fact is, despite best efforts to work through it, Parliament has been paralyzed for months after what has been the longest session of a minority parliament in Canadian history. That's why this morning I advised the Governor General that we need a new session of Parliament. She has granted this request, and the House will now be prorogued until March 24th. Over the holidays, I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as Prime Minister, after the party selects its next leader through a robust, nationwide, competitive process. Last night I asked the President of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
So basically, he's saying instead of all of us fighting uh on this election, he rather just step back and allow the country to move forward. So in turn, he's in a gist, he's just basically painting himself as a hero. That will do what's best for the country over himself. Okay. All right, Mr. Trudeau.
Amis, comme vous savez, je suis un fighter. Dans mon fort intérieur, je me suis toujours battu parce que je me soucie profondément des Canadiens. je serai toujours motivé par ce qui est dans le meilleur intérêt des Canadiens. Et le fait est que malgré tous les efforts déployés pour passer à travers, le Parlement est paralysé depuis des mois, après ce qui a été la plus longue session de Parlement minoritaire dans l'histoire de notre pays. C'est pourquoi ce matin, j'ai rencontré la gouverneure générale pour lui faire savoir que nous avions besoin d'une nouvelle session du Parlement. Elle a accédé à ma demande et la Chambre sera donc prorogée jusqu'au 24 mars. Pendant le temps des fêtes, j'ai
I
également
don't know if any of
eu
y'all
l'occasion de
understand French,
réfléchir
but
et d'avoir de longues conversations avec ma famille.
this is a lot of French. Let's see if I could skip it.
Vous savez, je suis pas quelqu'un qui
une réalisation que vous pourriez me nommer dont vous êtes le plus fier? Je sais qu'il y en a plusieurs, mais s'il y en a une, et peut-être un regret aussi.
En 2015, on a été élus sur une promesse de elected in 2015 to fight for the middle class. And that's exactly what we've done over the past years. We reduced their taxes, we increased the benefits to families, we made sure the economy was focused on working for everyone and not just a few. And that has changed.
Politics everywhere, man. He's he's speaking of how he, fighting for the people, fighting for all people, and not just the rich people or poor people. He's politicking. We'll see. I believe he'll probably be somewhere in the background, waiting to waiting for the opportunity to strike. Because I don't think he's going away like that. That whole noble, I'm stepping down, so so we don't block the country and all the infighting. I think he's doing what's best for himself at the moment. He probably realized he's losing, or he realized he's losing the people. Uh and he's just, you know, it's almost how rappers, they won't drop unless they feel like, they're hot enough. And they'll drop their first album, do pretty good, and then they'll be afraid to drop again, because if the sentiment is that, oh, I'm not gonna have the same type of numbers, and I don't want to drop. And that's probably what's happening. He probably realizing, I'm not gonna get the same numbers I would get, in previous elections. So I'm gonna fall back. I'm gonna, you know, replay my cards, get back out there, get the people behind me, then we'll go again. Yeah, politicians don't, people don't, human nature, right? Human nature. People don't release power. People don't give away power. You're gonna have to fight. You have to fight. Power struggle.
That has dropped poverty rates in Canada, that has brought more people into the workforce. That has been for close to 10 years now. She has been an incredible political partner through just about everything we have done as a government and as a party over the past decade. I had really hoped that she would agree to continue as my Deputy Prime Minister and take on one of the most important files that not just this government but this country is facing, but she chose otherwise. In regards to what actually happened, I am not someone who's in the habit of sharing private conversations. Christia a été depuis presque 10 ans maintenant à mes côtés en tant que partenaire politique essentiel à presque tout ce qu'on a réussi en tant que gouvernement, en tant que parti. J'aurais vraiment souhaité qu'elle choisisse de continuer en tant que ma
Yeah.
vice-première ministre
All right, man.
et qu'elle
I think we've had enough of this
un des dossiers les
for
plus
today.
importants auxquels
As the
les Canadiens
story,
et
as
notre
we learn more
gouvernement
about
font
it,
face dans
of course
les
we'll
mois
bring
à
it
venir
up to you
d'ici les
guys.
prochaines élections.
We'll post it. We'll update the story
Mais par rapport aux détails,
probably
quelqu'un qui partage
in shorter videos.
détails de conversation.
Um,
You spoke about the Liberal Party as an institution and the internal battles
let's take
right
this
now.
last
I'm
question here.
wondering if you feel that another leader will have more success than you will at beating Pierre Poilievre in the next campaign.
So let's see if he's gonna admit that he just felt like somebody has a better chance. They're bringing up the point I made a little bit ago that he realizes somebody's putting more work in, and he probably realizes he's not gonna win.
Pierre Poilievre's vision for this country is not the right one for Canadians. Stopping the fight against climate change doesn't make sense. Backing off on the values and strength in diversity that Canada has always worked to pull itself together on is not the right path for the country. Attacking journalists, the CBC institutions, that's not what Canadians need in this moment. We need an ambitious, optimistic view of the future, and Pierre Poilievre is not offering that.
Well said. Well said. I think we're gonna stop it here. He basically trash talking his opponent, letting people know what they stand for. That they don't stand for anything good. They don't stand for, the things that people care about in his opinion, which is climate change and equality, that type of thing. All right, let's see what else we got going here. YFN Melly. So today, Mel is back in court. Um, figuring out a few things about his new case, his new trial. If you remember, uh, the trial, uh, he just had recently. There was a jury there that voted that not guilty, and basically didn't get a unanimous decision. So it was a mistrial, and now it's setting up for a new trial. And it's a lot of weird things going on with this trial. I believe his lawyer is being subpoenaed. They charging his lawyer with uh a few things. Uh let's watch what this hearing is about today.
Just for a record, I know that, I know we're all aware, but for the affidavit, no, Your Honor, no objection to read that.
So we're resetting it for tomorrow.
I apologize for the audio in advance. It sounds like the audio is a little peaky.
Judge, it's okay. I don't want someone standing physically versus not be on Zoom that day.
That's
just so I
fine.
can be present. Okay, sure. Thank you.
That's the lawyer right here. Also, aka Diddy's lawyer. We have no sound. There's no Melly right here. New hairstyle. Alright, there you go. I was just about to apologize for the no sound. You think he lied to him? You think he's letting him know, yo, I'm gonna get you off this shit right now, bro. Don't worry about it. How much money you say you got again? My nigga spending all his bread on this girl. And he's been in jail for at least 5 years.
We're ready. Thank you. Ready to go on your yes. Stay muted.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me go back on the record. This is on the FT docket on the top of page 4. State versus Dennis. I've got Ms. Buckaloo, Ms. Collins, Mr. Griffith, present for the state. I've got Mr. Agency, Mr. Anderson present for Mr. Dennis, who likewise is present. Mr. Aronson, you're telling me we're going forward without Ms. Liberty, without Mr. Benjamin, and without Mr. Higgins today. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, in preparation for the 2 days of all pending motions, I was going to put on the record, I know that the defense wants me to take one of these out of order. I think they're probably correct about that. But let me just put on the record real quick, everything that I've read in preparation for the all.
He look in good spirit though. I'll give him that. In jail that long. But it's just to show y'all, you know, when you do something crazy. Now I don't know if he's guilty or not, but he's accused of something very serious. And you know, that's where that strength comes in, man. He's accused of, if you guys remember, he's accused of shooting 2 of his best friends point blank range in a vehicle. And he's been in jail since I believe 2019, 2018, 2019. And my dude been fighting. But when you see him in court, always in good spirit. Yeah. Do you think that helps? I think that helps. I don't know. Some people might look at it as, you know, he's relieved. You know, he's relieved. He don't have any. He don't have any more anger or anything because he took it out on them boys already. Some people might say that, and some people might say, "Hey, he's just no, he's not guilty, and he believe and has faith in the judicial system in Florida, and he feels like he's gonna get off." You could it could go both ways.
Pending motions that I gave you all day today and all day tomorrow for. I endeavored to try to read everything in the electronic file, all filings and any authority cited therein that took place since the mistrial was declared. Mr. previous trial, which was July 22nd, 2023. So these are all the pleadings that I read that were filed by the defense. I did read also all the orders that Judge Murphy entered. I do realize some of these may be due, but in the abundance of caution, so I would be prepared. I never
The judge mentioned sometime. He mentioned July.
just did read all of them. As we go through them, I'm sure you all will let me know if it's something that I need to resolve or it's something that's already been resolved. The defense, and I'll do these in chronological. I read the defense motion to compel Brady material that was electronically filed August 23rd, 2023. I read the defense motion to compel discovery that was electronically filed August 31st, 2023. I read the defense motion for discovery of prosecutorial investigations and prospective jurors electronically filed September 6, 2023. Defense motion for disclosure of penalty phase evidence electronically filed September 13th, 2023. The defense's motion in limine regarding phone, social media, and business records electronically filed September 21st, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion in limine to exclude certain testimony of Detective Mark Moretti regarding Apple Health Chronometer electronically filed October 4th, 2023. Defense motion to exclude testimony of defendant's alleged gang affiliation electronically filed October 4th, 2023.
They're going over all the
Defendant
motions.
Janelle Deming's response to state's motion to quash subpoenas and/or for protective orders, and for an order to compel witnesses to be deposed and to attend hearings, electronically filed October 4th, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion to compel discovery, electronically filed October 4th, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion in limine to exclude certain testimony of Detective Mark Moretti along with cell hawk, call data, record, mapping, and Google Maps, electronically filed October 5th, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion in limine to exclude certain.
If y'all remember, those were a big deal on the trial. The cell phone towers, positioning, uh, um, and actually gives you the positioning within a certain amount of feet, I believe, and they used that a lot in that case, to prove that he himself was in the car, because the defense was it wasn't in the car. It couldn't have been him. He left the car earlier, and it was a lot of evidence. They used to place him in the car. One of those was the cell phone towers, which help with positioning, direction of travel, etc. Um, but he's been fighting, man. He's been fighting.
Testimony of Detective Mark Moretti regarding Apple Health Chronometer, electronically filed October 5th.
Y'all drink coffee? Coffee almost done.
Motion to exclude testimony of expert witness and memorandum of law, electronically filed October 6, 2023. Response to state's motion to quash a memorandum of
Ice
law,
coffee.
electronically filed October 9th, 2023. Memorandum Ray, ASA, Christine Bradley testified, electronically filed October 9th, 2023. Defendant's second motion for redeposition of Detective Mark Moretti, electronically filed October 29th, 2023. Defendant's second motion to dismiss for government and prosecutorial misconduct in violation of the defendant's due process rights.
Judge, that can be struck because we filed the third one and that incorporated the second. And we're already ruling on the third one.
Okay, well, hold on. Let me get all of them down,
All right.
and then we'll go one at a time. That's why I gave you 2 days. This one is defendant's second motion to dismiss for government and prosecutorial misconduct in violation of the defendant's due process rights. That one was filed November 1st, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion to exclude, electronically filed November 2nd, 2023. Defendant Janelle Deming's motion to strike the state of Florida supplemental discovery,
They were
electronically
putting these
filed
motions
December
in.
14th, 2023.
They're going over all
Defendant
the
Janelle Deming's
motions.
reply to the state of Florida's response to defendant's motion to strike the state of Florida supplemental discovery list, electronically
So I'm
filed
guessing they're
December
gonna go
17th,
over the
2023.
motions and see
Objection to
and
business
kinda,
record certification
and
and oral
objections
motion in limine.
prior
Electronically
to
filed
the new
December
trial.
18th,
See if
2023.
it
Defendant's third
Something
motion to
they
compel
want.
forensic images of the cell phones
I guess.
belonging to Christopher Thomas and Anthony Williams, electronically filed April 15, 2024. Defendant's request for status hearing, electronically filed April 15, 2024. Defendant's motion to set aside stay and/or modify stay to allow discovery to proceed,
My nigga cold.
electronically filed April 25, 2024. Motion to compel discovery, electronically filed May 13, 2024. Defendant Jamel Demons' motion in limine number 2 to exclude irrelevant and immaterial YouTube videos of 1090J, electronically filed May 14, 2024. Defendant's motion to strike the state of Florida's motion for rehearing dated May 14, 2024. That is electronically filed May 14. And then a defense motion for hearing to determine potential conflict, electronically filed December 27.
My nigga freezing. He is freezing. Yeah, because they keep these places cold. It's a
From the state attorney's office, I read the following. State's motion to refer to potential and seated jurors by number instead of name, electronically filed October 6, 2023. State's motion to allow former testimony of state witness, filed October 6, 2023. State's motion to strike State Attorney Harold Pryor, Assistant State Attorney Regina Falk, and Assistant State Attorney Christopher Kilran from Defendant Demon's supplemental witness list for trial, filed on September. Michelle Boutros and Christine
skip it a
Brown.
little bit, yeah.
I won't limit either side to present whatever evidence, witnesses, or testimony they would like to present. Defense, I'm going to start with you, and I also did read Rutledge versus State, which is 157 3rd 830, regarding the defense motion for hearing to determine potential conflict. So, whenever you're ready, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
The judge got one of them, one of those military those military straight edge cut. What is that called? Military fade? It's not a boosie fade. Looks like a boosie fade though.
Rutledge and other cases, federal cases, because state of Florida really hasn't delved into this area as much as the federal case law does, indicates that there are certain things we need to find out first of all. So I don't know if this is the hearing or you want to set a hearing, but the bottom line of it is that the first thing we need to know whether Miss Liberty is still under investigation. We were told before the hearing by the state, and I have no reason to doubt their word, that she still is under investigation. So that raises for us a number of problems. It may look on the surface that the only thing is Miss Liberty need to get permission from Mr. Devins to stay on the case and for him to waive conflict, but it's much deeper than that. And the reason why it's much deeper than that is we don't know what the state has subpoenaed. We do not know what they have in their possession. We do not know, other than the Apple accounts, if they've subpoenaed other things. Therefore, we do not know whether communications that we have had with Miss Liberty have been intercepted, and therefore, we've been told that nobody else on the defense team is under investigation, but there are certainly confidential communications that we would have had with Miss Liberty. There are communications about trial strategy that we would have had with Miss Liberty that we do not know who is in possession of them, what is going on with them. Now, the case law seems to be pretty clear that during this type of process with an attorney who's on a case, that the state is bound to return innocent or innocuous or confidential communications to Miss Liberty. But she has not received any. In fact, she didn't know there were any.
They're speaking about that lawyer that got indicted as well. I'm on the case. I believe it was like some type of drug or something along that line. I'll find out and I'll recap on this. But I just wanted to bring y'all guys the breaking news that they have Melly in there in the court again, setting up for the new trial.
Were to be received until the date that's mentioned in the motion. So where does that put us? As I said, we've been told that the defense team, other than Miss Liberty, is not under investigation. But we do know that there's an ongoing investigation. What we have now been working for nearly a year, or over a year, with the state being in possession of documents dealing with Miss Liberty. If in fact Miss Liberty has to get off the case because of the conflict that she would have, this is a year too late. We should have been informed of this a year ago. So the defense team and Miss Liberty, and therefore Mr. Demings, for a year are working on this case with the state knowing that there's the potential that Miss Liberty will be indicted or an information filed against her in the exact same case of tampering with evidence and with witnesses. And if that becomes the case, she obviously, whether there's a conflict or not, that has been waived up until that time. I think the case law is pretty clear. At that time, if she has charges against her, she has to bail out. In fact, I believe, and I'm not sure because it's federal case law, but I'd like to read to the court this paragraph from the case of U.S. versus Shagan, 661 Fed Sup 1289.
They're going over case law to support their them keeping the lawyer that's being indicted not to kick her off the case. So they're using time frames, time restraint, and case law to argue keeping that lawyer on the case because she's done all the work, she's gone over all the materials that she has to cover, basically her job on that case. They're saying we can't replace her. She's done all this work, so getting somebody else to do all this work will take too long, and they're saying the state took too long to kind of bring these motions uh up to kind of get her off the case. So they're arguing that right now.
2009. In contrast to McLean, where the defense counsel was under investigation for a crime unrelated to charges against the defendant, here, defense counsel would have been under investigation for crimes that threatened the integrity and fairness of the trial. Were the government to inform the court at the eve of trial or during the course of trial that the defense team was under investigation for witness tampering, under the principles of McLean and as conceded by Cronin,
For witness tempering. So question answered itself. So yeah, it was for witness tempering.
the defense team would be forced to withdraw its representation of Dr. Shagan. In fact, David Marcus made the motion orally as soon as he heard about the investigation. Such a development would have deprived the defendant of a defense team that had been intimately familiar with his defense, causing him severe prejudice. And that's where we're traveling down right now. Even if we stay on the case right now, if charges are brought against Miss Liberty, and they happen to fall before the end of Mr. Deming's trial, we may be forced to, under the law, to withdraw as an entire defense team. But a question still needs to be asked. Why did the state wait, not to tell us, because they never told us, we had to find it out through Apple, that there was an investigation? Because a year ago, we would have sat with Mr. Demings, and he may have said, you know what, I need a new defense team. And we would have been off the case. But for a year, basically, we've been on a case that maybe we should not have been. There are things that we need to know. We need to know who reviewed the warrant, who signed the warrant for the state as far as authorizing. We need to know whether there was a tainting. If all this information was gathered and given to the state attorneys that are prosecuting.
The judge don't look like he's buying it. I don't know. The judge have like one of them I ain't buying it face. But my man making the argument is there is basically the state took way too long. They should have brought this up a while back because they had the information or they have the knowledge that they were looking to investigate the defense team for witness tampering and indicting her. So if they had all of that information and they're waiting, and the waiting was a strategic move, so he's gonna try to poke at that, see if the judge. But the judge have one of them stone cold, just a straight face. I don't think he buying it, but let's see what he does.
Prosecuting this case right now. There are innocent, innocuous, and confidential communications that will be in the hands of the state that is improper. A paint team should have been set up that reviews the documents and makes sure only those that are specific to the search warrant are looked at by the trial team. Questions need to be asked. If in fact Ms. Liberty is under investigation, then why were the subpoenas sent out and why did that investigation begin now? And what I mean by that is there's a statute of limitations. The state was under no obligation to begin that investigation until Mr. Demmons' case is over. Therefore, there is no perceived conflict. There is no conflict because we don't know that they're thinking about investigating Ms. Liberty. But instead, we were not put in that position to know that, and a year went by.
So his biggest argument is that they didn't tell us. We didn't know. We weren't able to prepare for this indictment. They weren't given the opportunity to prepare someone else or hire someone else or have the chance to give someone or give someone else a shot to kind of prepare for that case. So it seems like that's his main argument. Now, is that gonna change the judge's mind? I don't know. From just a visual from what I'm seeing visually, I don't know if the judge gonna budge.
If they had waited to the conclusion of Mr. Demmons' case, as I said, then there is no conflict. So the only thing that I get from this is that there's the chance that within the next whatever year, or 10 months until the trial date, 9 months, whatever it is exactly, that Miss Liberty is in fact facing charges formally. And if that occurs, then A, she can't try the case. Not sure the rest of the defense team can try the case. And don't know, at a prejudice to Mr. Demmons would be monumental that at this late stage you'd have to get a whole new defense team. So we need these questions answered. It's not just a simple, is there an ongoing investigation? We need to know the extent of it. We need to know the whys of when it was instituted and why wasn't it, why didn't the state, wait for this matter to be over? We need to know whether the state, if they're going to charge Miss Liberty with this crime.
He's trying to point at the state's plan to kind of derail the case by indicting some of the team, well, specifically that one lawyer, that woman. He's exposing the state for being malice, for using malice on that, because he's saying they could have waited. Why didn't they wait afterwards? Why didn't they wait after this case is over, then go after her? Why now? Why didn't they tell us to allow us some time to prepare? Why didn't they do that? So he's trying to poke some hole in
tampering
in this right now.
Do they intend to try her at the same time as Mr. Demmons, or a separate trial? Obviously, at the same time, it even raises more of a conflict. We have a question, and that scares us. Miss Liberty has not been allowed to see Mr. Demons in person for the last, before I got on the case, for at least the last year and a half. When she goes to the jail, she must pick up the phone and use one of those phones to talk to Mr. Demons on the other side of the glass partition by phone. Have they been tapped? Have they been listened into? We need to know what communications, what has gone on. So it's not just as simple as, is there an open investigation? Now, as far as going forward on these other motions that you said, we can't go forward as a defense team on any of these motions until we talk to Mr. Demons and have him understand what's going on. And for him, first of all, to make the decision. Yes, I want to keep this defense team. Yes, I want to keep Miss Liberty. Or no, I need a new defense team. We can't do anything until that's decided. I will say that after doing the research that I did over the weekend and came up with the case I cited to the court, I think all members of our defense team need to call up the Florida Bar and to see whether we're obligated, now that we know that she's under investigation, that we're obligated or not to withdraw from the case, regardless of Mr. Demons' position. So that's where we stand today. With all apologies to the court, though, I do not believe we can go forward with these motions. Mr. Demons has a lot of thinking to do. Hopefully the court will give us a hearing and some of these questions are answered, and then he can make a logical and an informed decision. And by that time, we can find from the bar whether we have obligations regardless of his decisions.
Rutledge says, I have to find out if there's an investigation, and the state says there is. What is your authority for all those other things that you said you want answers? Because I didn't find any authority. I don't even know how I would do that. Well, do you have any authority? I understand you're saying, as a judge, this is what we'd like. I read what Rutledge says. That's what I'm doing right now.
Shout out to Long Crime.
You want to know about investigations. You want to know about a judge who reviewed a warrant. How would you suggest I do that? And more importantly, do you have any authority that supports any of those requests you just made?
Well, the authority that I have, Your Honor, is the Sixth Amendment to the United States Constitution, which requires and which allows my client to have competent counsel. And without being able to go into these things, and I also rely on the 14th Amendment due process, without being able to go into these things and have a hearing where all these things are ferreted out.
A hearing, that's what I'm asking. What do you I don't want you to confuse some type of hearing defending this liberty. That's not really the issue. That's a yes or no question. Is she under investigation? And the answer is yes. So the only other question that Rutledge requires is that Mr. Demons has to decide, does he want to go forward with her, or does he want conflict-free counsel, which I think he's certainly entitled to. And if he wants to apply that to all of his lawyers, he may do that. But that's a discussion between you and your client. I can't intervene in that. You're asking me to do fact-finding on behalf of your clients, so your client can make an informed decision.
Well, right. Then I will file another motion for prosecutorial misconduct and ask for a hearing on that. Subpoena witnesses in. The state will move to quash the witnesses that I will be calling in, and we'll have hearings going down that path. But this is something, no offense to this court, but I do not know how this court says that's the only thing that matters to me. There's a whole laundry list that deal with not only conflict.
That's what I'm asking. Do you have any case law that tells me I have to do that? I'm happy to do that. You cited Rutledge, and I read Rutledge. Rutledge doesn't say any of those things.
I have no case law in front of me right now that says you have to do that. But I would think it would be the inherent authority of this court that you should do that. And there's certainly nothing that says you can't do that.
The judge is not buying it. The judge is not buying the argument. But they're fighting though. He's sustaining his position.
That's usually that podium that talks to me about my inherent authority, which I don't exercise. I'm happy to do whatever a statute, case law, criminal procedure tells me to do. I don't make up things on my own.
Then I ask the court, let's go one step at a time. Right now, Mr. Demons now has been informed that Ms. Liberty is under investigation, and let us see what he decides. If he doesn't want us on the case anymore because of this, then all the things I've raised will be raised by another set of counsel. But if he does, we will be filing other motions in order so that we can get these questions answered, because Mr. Demons needs to know these. Or, quite candidly, he can make that choice. He can say right now that he wants Miss Liberty, but after these facts come out, depending on what those facts are, he may decide he doesn't want Miss Liberty or the rest of the defense team. So we'll take it one step at a time.
So your request is you want me to hear any of these today? And
I don't think we can.
when would you like me to reset them?
I do not know how long it will take. Miss Liberty is not in town yet right now. She's on a plane. She got snowed in Montana yesterday. Drove from Montana to Seattle. She was on an airplane ready to come here, and they canceled the flight while she was on the tarmac. She got another flight and flew to Phoenix. She is now on a plane from Phoenix to here. Almost all these motions that you went through are Miss Liberty's motions. So A, for logistical purposes, we can't hear those motions this morning at least. We're hoping that she's back at 1:30. But I do think it takes some time for us to talk to Mr. Demmons. She certainly needs to talk to Mr. Demmons. So, you want to reset it for, I don't know if we can speak to him tonight sufficiently or not. You want to put it on for possible motions tomorrow and status tomorrow? You can, but I'm not sure that's enough time to talk to him.
It's not enough time for any candidate. And we need...
That's Diddy's lawyer right there.
If I may be heard.
Yes, sir.
We need to file, based upon your Honor's comments, we need to file a motion requesting...
This is Diddy's lawyer right there. The big boy, big dog. Good lawyers.
certain things about this investigation concerning the tainting, whether or not they relayed any of that information to the prosecutors or the investigators in this case. And I want the court to know, they didn't tell us. Apple informed Miss Liberty that a search warrant was issued on her Apple account back on December 13, 2023. As a result of that, I contacted the Broward Sheriff's Office and spoke to Christian Sabanis. And I sent him a text message that said, I was just advised that Broward Sheriff's Office issued a search warrant on Miss Liberty's Apple account.
The judge is like, get to your point, bro. That's the look. The judge is looking at him like, get to the point, man.
On December 13, 2023, over 1 year ago. I would like to discuss this with you. He responded by saying, hi Stu, I have zero knowledge of this search warrant or its application. Your email is the first I have heard of this. I would defer to whoever the affiant was. I don't have access to that information. I in turn contacted the state, and they said they would get back to me, which I spoke for the first time this morning to the state concerning this. I think we need to know the procedure of the so-called tainting so that any privileged communications were not relayed to the prosecution team and or its investigators. We also need to know why, since Miss Liberty represents numerous other clients, whether or not they have severed or separated those privileged communications that have nothing to do with their so-called investigation. We need to find this out.
Well, do you even know the investigation has to do with this representation? That's exactly what I was just thinking, what you just said.
I assume it is, since it's issued from the Broward Sheriff's Office.
How do you know it isn't related to one of our other clients or one of our other cases?
Well, that's all I
have. Has anyone
have.
said anything that this has anything to do with Mr. Demmons?
I can't answer that without seeing the search warrant.
We're not here to make work. Does this have to do with Mr. Demmons?
It does, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, can you give them a copy of the search warrant?
No, because it's a pending investigation that's still ongoing.
How does Mr. Demmons make a decision about whether he wants to waive any potential conflict or not without having that information?
The only thing I can say, Your Honor, is again, it's a pending investigation. Knowing that she's under investigation is what Rutledge talks about. we can't give anything over until it's
Well,
officially completed.
With all due respect, Ms. Buckley, this is the high due process part when the state's seeking the death penalty. The state's seeking the death penalty. So you need to turn over the affidavit and the search warrant so the lawyers can make an informed decision. All right?
It does not have to do with the homicide case.
Well, in any case, he needs to know if there is a potential conflict of interest. He's either going to make an informed, intelligent waiver of that, or she will no longer be his lawyer. And then he has to make the same decision for all of his other lawyers. And he is going to trial September the 10th, 2025.
September 10th is the new trial date. Okay. So surprisingly, but also we appreciate the judge leaning with the defense here, saying that you can't hide evidence that I'm gonna need. First of all, you're supposed to disclose everything you got. That's how the law works. But furthermore, you can't tell me I'm not gonna give you something because it's still part of the evidence. But this is, the judge is maintaining that it's a death penalty case. This is very serious decisions. This is life changing decisions that they have to make. And if he's gonna keep his lawyer or hire new lawyers upon knowing what the evidence are, but the state is doing what states do, and kind of saying no. But I believe the judge is gonna kind of make them release the evidence. This is silly, but that's the game some of the state play. Not all, but some DAs.
So we need to do this now. So how long will it take for you to get a copy of the affidavit and a copy of the search warrant and give it to opposing counsel?
I'll have to speak with my office, and you can have a week to figure this out.
Judge, they've had since December of 23. They didn't even have the courtesy to inform us of a pending investigation. We had to learn this from Apple.
My nigga do his thing. He is pissed.
But you're telling me it relates to this case.
To the tampering case.
So why would this be different than any other search warrant in any other criminal case? The defense counsel would be entitled to it.
Because she's not a subject that's been charged yet, potentially could be. It's pending investigation. All I can say is, again, pending investigation, there is a team in place, and it's still pending. So it's not like we have to hand over discovery to her. She's not a listed defendant yet.
No, but let me repeat myself. Mr. Devins has to make an informed decision about who he wants his lawyers to be. He's now been sitting in our jail for 2,159 days. So how long would you like to be able to make that decision?
I can't determine when the investigation will be over. That's up to the Broward Sheriff's Office, but I can, as I said, I'm just asking for a week to determine.
My nigga was like, damn. That nigga couldn't even believe the time that the judge just said 2,000 plus days. Golly. That's damn near 6 years. About 6 years.
Whether or not we need to file any sort of motion to prevent the search warrant from being handed over.
My nigga can't believe it.
I just can't imagine any legal grounds that would not happen in this particular case. It's a death penalty.
I understand that. And then I'm asking for at least a day or two. At
Can you
minimum.
decide by tomorrow? I've also reserved all of tomorrow. If I took over Division FT. Judge Murphy had 44 pending first-degree murder cases. I've set them all for trial. I'm booked to trial through July of 2026. So if you all think I have 2 entire days at some point in the next 18 months to do these again, I do not. So
Understood.
I'm not sure what it is you want me to do. You don't want me to do anything else today.
We can't, under the Florida rules.
So do you want me to leave them on for tomorrow? You will have the balance of today to discuss all these issues with Mr. Devens, and state you will have the balance of today to discuss some reason why you can't just turn over this affidavit and search warrant? I mean, it may be something innocuous. By the way, for the record, I don't know anything about this. No one brought me a search warrant, so. But maybe it's something so de minimis that Mr. Devens is going to say that's fine. If there's any conflict, I'll waive it, and let's get to work. Or if not, I guess he's going to have to go find 5 other lawyers to do this who are going to be ready to try a capital case in 9 months. So how about tomorrow at 9:30?
We'll be here.
State tomorrow at 9:30?
That's fine, Judge.
I can't, again, Ms. Buckle, I'm not picking on you, but the answer can't be, my office told me X, Y, Z. Someone better be standing here with some authority that tells me they can't do it. Okay?
Judge, one other thing.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned about the trial schedule, and we're obviously going to try to do it. I just want to let you know, the matters that were appealed are still up in front of the 4th DCA. The state, I believe, just filed the last document in the case, or there may be one more that they need to file, one more reply brief. I would suspect that it's going to be set down for oral argument, and then I don't know when we would get a ruling. The problem is the stay that was issued by your previous judge. We cannot go into anything on any type of discovery as far as depositions, as far as motions, as far as anything dealing with the matters that are up on appeal. So when that all comes back, we will be rushed to get everything else done. Just want to let the court know, we're under the mercy of the 4th.
Is there anything pending at the 4th DCA regarding the tampering?
Yes, everything that was on the homicide is also on appeal for the tampering because it's the same evidence.
Yep.
And Judge Murphy entered an order.
Entered an order that says you can't do depositions?
We can do depositions on things that aren't on appeal. So we have been doing depositions on things that aren't on appeal.
For example, you did not read, unless I missed it, but there is a motion in which I'm asking the court to make the state tell us what of the 2 million or whatever amount of Instagram messages they intend to use at trial. That was filed a long time ago. We can't have that hearing because the Instagram messages, the whole thing is up on appeal. So we can't even go into that motion. Those are some of the things that await you.
Well, couldn't I give you rulings on all those? Depending on what, if I rule some messages are in and some messages are out, your example, and the 4th DCA says they're all out, then they're all out.
Judge, I wanted to move this case. I'm just...
Do you have any objection to doing that?
We're not the ones that filed this day.
Do you all have an objection to doing that?
Well, I think I'm confused on the motion that you're bringing up because all of the Instagram, if I remember correctly, I'd have to look, is up on appeal.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, it would kind of be a waste of time to do the motion.
Oh, no. A waste of time is reserving 2 entire court days and doing nothing. That's a waste of time. So do you have any objection to?
The judge is clapping back at the state, saying, listen, ain't no waste of time. The waste of time is me waiting 2 days for you to make up your mind to produce this damn warrant to the defense.
Going forward and be hearing and ruling on any and everything that's pending?
I think that we should start with the things that don't affect the appeal, and then, because there's plenty of those to be heard, and then we can go forward potentially with the other ones.
And I'll be candid, I did not think we were hearing the Instagram matter whatsoever. So I have not looked at that motion.
Okay, so why don't we do it this way, all right? He's going to remain on the docket tomorrow. I have a few other matters on both FX and FT, so let's call it 9:30 tomorrow. And defense, you can come in and tell me if you had a chance to talk to your client, because if he's going to waive any potential conflict, then I guess it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does, Your Honor, because he'd be waiving a conflict without knowing what's in the search warrant affidavit.
Correct.
So therefore it would be an invalid waiver because he's not totally informed of the facts.
Okay, you're going to tell me what you want to do, state. maybe you can identify the motions that you think we can go forward. I mean,
We sort of addressed it in the motion to strike the notice because we've been asking since our hearing in October to know what motions are going forward the next 2 days. Couldn't get an answer. We've asked in depositions from Ms. Liberty, couldn't get an answer. We emailed them, couldn't get an answer. And then just a few days ago, we got a notice of hearing. Half those motions aren't even filed within the court file in Odyssey. So we identified, I think, 4 that we are ready to go on, that we filed responses on. There's no motion filed for some of these
we can go to
titles.
trial in September. I'm not prejudging things.
I hope so, Judge.
No, I can absolutely guarantee you, he's gonna go to trial in September. So I'm gonna do everything that I can. If I have to rule on things during trial, which is an awful way to do things, because I know you both know, but if that's what it comes to, then that's what we're gonna do. So,
Assuming we're still on the case. And that's a big assumption at this moment.
And just, they're still asking for proper notice of what we're actually going to hear.
well, I'll take the blame for that. All pending motion. That's why I put that down to the law. All pending motions. They're asking for I believe they're asking for a Daubert hearing on cell phone records. They're asking for a Daubert hearing on some other matter, cell phone mapping. There's a whole bunch of things that they
Some of those have already been ruled on, Your Honor. The ones that they've noticed, I think, and again, Ms. Liberty admitted to this the last time we were here in front of Your Honor, that she filed things on the wrong case number, wrong title, and she's going to fix that. None of it has been fixed. So the state is entitled to proper notice so that we can respond accordingly.
We'll see you tomorrow morning. Fair enough?
Okay. I'll see you at 9:30 tomorrow. Ms. Wilcox, does that otherwise conclude FX NFT for today? Okay.
This is it for court
So the
for
FX
Melly today.
NFT will otherwise be recessed until tomorrow,
They'll be
which
back
is...
tomorrow
Yep, yes, sir.
I've been
with
told
a
that
decision on
Mr. Dennis has federal court tomorrow morning on his civil hearing. Does corrections have any idea of that?
Not tomorrow, sir.
Huh?
It's not tomorrow.
It's not tomorrow?
I believe it's January 17th.
17th. Forget what I just said. Thank you. We don't represent him on that.
Tomorrow is Tuesday, January the 7th. FX NFT will be in recess until then.
and this is it for
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Court Reporter. That is it.
this is it for the Melly's hearing today. So they'll be back tomorrow. They'll be back tomorrow figuring out the rest of the warrant situation on the other lawyer. They just wanted just so they could have some information, and that's fair. That's fair. Another story. This let's take a look at this congestion issue they're having in New York. Let's widescreen this.
Gone into effect, the first of its kind in the nation. Drivers crossing into Midtown below 60th Street will be hit with a toll. ABC's Ike Ajachi reports from Manhattan.
Tonight, New York City's highly debated congestion pricing is now in effect. It's the first of its kind in the United States. The plan, charging drivers $9 to enter what the MTA calls the congestion relief zone, the busiest part of Manhattan, home to iconic landmarks.
Yo, so they're tolling people on regular roads or the roads entering the New York City, downtown New York City, I would say. Getting into New York City, if I'm sure some of you guys are in New Jersey and New York City area, so y'all know what I'm talking about. Just entering New York City is expensive between the bridges and the tunnels, and it's a lot of money. Last time I drove into New York City, tolls were it was a while, and toll was still expensive. Um, now I hear it's it's getting worse. You need money, $100 at least going into New York City, uh, on tolls maybe between going in and
1,300 cameras,
moving
over
around.
110 detection points, separate detection points on the borders of the congestion zone.
According to INRIX, a traffic analytic company, New York City has the worst traffic in the U.S., followed by Chicago, Los Angeles, and Boston. Following months of delay from lawsuits, administrators say the plan aims to reduce traffic gridlock for the almost 5 million people commuting into the city for work, all while raising billions of dollars to help fix the city's ailing public transit infrastructure. Opponents say the plan will do little to reduce traffic, all while punishing drivers from outside Manhattan.
You just got charged $9. How do you feel?
Oh my God, just another one to add to the bills.
Other cities like Washington and San Francisco have looked into the plan, and cities overseas already on board. London, Milan, Stockholm already have similar plans in place. Singapore has charged drivers since the mid-'70s. Lindsay, President-elect Trump, whose Manhattan Tower allows within the zone, says he strongly disagrees with the governor's decision, vowing to repeal the measure once in office. Lindsay?
A lot of mixed feelings from drivers. Ike, thank you.
No offense, but if
Yeah, I don't believe in more taxing. I don't believe more taxing will help. It's unfortunate because now if you were struggling, right? And you have to go to New York or be in the city, it's it just became harder for you. Um, let's see here. We got one more topic we're gonna go over, and then obviously we have the uh stock market update today. I will be watching the stocks with you guys. Um, I am not a professional. Uh, I dabble in day trading. But I am not a professional. So, I'll just be updating you with some stocks news, what's going on. For example, let's knock this out real quick. For example, today, what we got is Nvidia went up more than 200 points, okay? Um that stock been doing very well. Became, I believe, the number one in technology and chip making. Everyone needs chips. So um even for the computer I'm using currently, all right, we use it. So um it's a very, very good company. Um very good investment. Now if you have gotten it a while back, uh you certainly are, or you certainly are rich right now. Okay. 16% in the last week. That's crazy. All right, Nvidia. Whoa. That's good. That's good. Our last topic here. Let's hop
To get
in right
started
into it.
pushing through his agenda.
We want to make sure that we're jump-starting the agenda now over the next 2 weeks so that he's prepared and ready on day one. The idea would be get something done on the border and maybe defense spending right out of the blocks very quickly in what we would call a skinny reconciliation bill, and then do the rest of it in a larger chunk later. But I think at the end of the day, President Trump is going to prefer, as he likes to say, one big, beautiful bill. Certainly by May, yes. In fact, we're targeting a vote in the House maybe in the first week of April.
New York Congresswoman Nicole Maliotakis joins me now. Congresswoman, good morning to you. So it sounds like we're going to have to get used to hearing the phrase big, beautiful bill, because that's how Donald Trump wants his legislative agenda to pass, not split up into 2 or 3, but 1. So how do you feel about that strategy, and what can we expect to be included in it?
Well, I think it's the smart thing to do is to do one bill that really tackles the border issues as well as energy production in our country, perhaps defense, as well as the tax cuts that we want to extend and then build upon the success. I will say that right out of the gate, today will be certifying the president's election. In 2 weeks, he will be sworn in, and House Republicans are united. We met over the weekend, and we talked a little bit about the strategy and the process moving forward. And first out of the gate, I think you'll see legislation that will give President Trump's administration the tools to secure our border, but to also deport the criminals and the cartels who have wreaked havoc, particularly in cities like mine in New York, and also the tools to find the hundreds of thousands of missing children who have either been sex trafficked, being exploited, maybe involuntary servitude. So those are the priorities on the border front. And then we'll work on the energy production to jumpstart and make sure we're energy dominant again. And then the tax is so critical because we need to make sure we preserve those cuts that created millions of jobs, lifted middle class wages, brought unemployment to a record low. The president wants to do no tax on tips. We also want to see the tax burden on our seniors reduced. We'll be going, a group of us, to meet with President Trump this weekend to discuss in more detail some of the priorities.
Well, Congresswoman, razor-thin Republican majority in the House. I can only imagine how much work is going to be spent on getting this bill to cross the finish line. Do you think it will be an uphill battle?
Well, there's no doubt that it's challenging. We have the slimmest majority in the history of the country. And obviously, when you have multiple members, you have multiple opinions. And so I think that's almost why we have to do a large bill like this, because we need to build consensus. Your border states and states like mine, we want to see that border security. Everyone in the conference does. Energy producing states wants to make sure that we're using domestic American energy for our national security and to create good American jobs. And then you have the SALT states, state and local tax relief is a big issue. So if we can build consensus by putting our constituents first and making sure we all deliver legislative wins for our constituents back home, right, I think that's how we build consensus to get this done. And remember, the last time there were 2 reconciliations was 1997 when Newt Gingrich was there, which a much larger majority, and that's why we have to do one.
Okay, so Congresswoman, you mentioned it. Congress is going to certify Donald Trump's election victory today. It will no doubt be less eventful than January 6, 4 years ago. But notably, Kamala Harris is going to be presiding over the certification of her own election loss. So what can the American people expect to experience as this is going down today?
Well, hopefully she'll get the pledge right today, because that was a disgrace what happened last week. But what I'll say is, look, we have a job to do. We're going to get it done. I think that it's a massive snowstorm here in Washington, D.C. Yeah. Hopefully everyone will show up and get the job done, because we have a lot of work to do. The people have spoken, and we've already laid out the framework. We just need to execute at this point.
Okay, so Congresswoman, let's talk about something that is impacting your constituents directly, and that is crime in New York City. And the latest example of that is...
Before we go into that, so Kamala's supposed to be there to oversee the certification of Trump's election win. So that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna cover it later. Very interesting. So we'll see what happened with that today. And also, you know, Trump is coming out trying to get things done. Of course, Trump, you know, he's believe in the border being secure, bring energy back to companies back to America, and kickstart the economy. So we're gonna see what comes of that. As we know, a lot of people are against Trump, and he has a lot of people behind him as well. And the whole storyline was how Elon is the guy leading, is the real president. Trump is just, you know, in the background. So all of those things they were throwing at him. So now it's time for him to kind of get in and do what the things he said he would do. And, you know, we got faith in Trump, man. Trump seems like he wants to use this term and do some good things. Um, bring the strength back. Um, personally, you know, remove all the rhetorics, the BS talks, and the outrageous comments. He's fine with me. He's fine with me. Um, so let me know what y'all think in the comments. Um, we're gonna finish watching this video and start working on other videos for y'all.
A man was just arrested after stabbing two people in the subway. Thankfully, those two people survived the attack, but he had 87 prior arrests, and his rap sheet includes attempted murder, weapons possession, assault, criminal trespassing, turnstile jumping, petty larceny. 87 arrests and still out on the street to harm more people. I am sure you have some thoughts on this.
Absolutely. Well, as we've said, the radical bail law that the Democrats in New York put in place continues to release people who should not be on the street. Andrew Cuomo closed about 1,000 mental health beds. So where do those people go? They're on the subway system. They're in the streets. What I'll say is if you look at the stats before the bail law took effect, felony assault has increased 55% since 2019. We've saw murders more than triple. And I'm talking about the subway system alone, okay, since 2019. And you have real serious situations where you have about every 2 weeks somebody being pushed on the subway tracks in 2024. Governor Hochul needs to get this city and our state under control. Mayor Adams, by the way, was a transit cop, so he knows exactly what needs to be done to make our transit system secure. We are down about 8,000 cops than we were on September 11th, 2001. Yeah. That is so scary considering the terror threats that we face each and every day. The last time we had so few cops, it was in the year 1990. So they need to hire more cops to keep our subways and our city safe. And they just need to do their job. Instead, what she's trying to do is hit us with a congestion tax, which just went into effect yesterday. $9 toll to drive into Manhattan to try to push people on the subway system. Right. But people don't want to ride the subway because it's not safe.
Great
you
point.
Want people to ride the subway, make it safe.
Good point all around, yeah. Them. And the MTA says felony assaults on the rails are up 65% from.
That's a good point. You're pushing people to start taking public transportation, take the subway, and not drive into New York City. But the subway is not safe. And it's very interesting to me because we are #1 in the world, but you go to other places in Asia, their subways are more organized, cleaner, and 100 times safer. Places like Thailand, beautiful train system, China, Japan, um, very beautiful train system. But then you go to New York City, our #1 city in our country. We can't get a good transportation system. You always have trains and terrible, dirty, nasty conditions, and also you have the violence. You know, it's just not good. It's just not good. Um, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this growing issue that's going on in New York. Um, and funny enough, they let a whole bunch of people in now and start charging you, the New Yorker that's been living there, a toll because it's too busy over there. You got all the Ubers and all the all the Lyfts and things like that comes in there. You guys are being punished. You guys are being punished. So this is a tough situation.
2019 to 2024. Congresswoman, we have to leave it there, but thank you so much for joining us this morning. We very much appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right. So this is it for this topic. We'll keep an eye on this, see what happens, what comes of it. But I think it's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate that that's how things are unfolding in New York. Uh that's it for today, guys. For right now, we do have some topics coming up for later. I will be on live tonight, um, on YouTube, and as we go, we'll kind of spread to the different platforms. But for now, we'll be on live on YouTube. Please check out our Instagram, where we'll be having some stories. I'll be having some the Instagram. I'll be putting breaking news and updating and entertainment news as well. Check me out on Twitter. Of course, if you guys would like to support the channel, please support me on Cash App and PayPal. I have all of it there. Please like and subscribe. And we're gonna be on this journey, guys. I will be getting stories, and we'll be uh we'll be breaking some news. We'll be keeping you updated. We'll bring some fair opinions on music industry and financial industry, and we have some plans. We have some things working um that we'll be working on. When I say we, I'm talking you and I. Uh we have some things. You guys just let me know what's interesting and what's not interesting, what's helping, what's not, and we'll be making improvement. And appreciate you guys. Again, check us out on Instagram and Twitter, and also on TikTok. Thank you very much, and have a good one. We'll talk later.